Well, it's over with. And I got to tell you, I've been doing this all day today. I was up. I just got back, and this is the first time I've got to talk to you as to what I thought about today's inaugural. I've been doing TV and radio and all this stuff. And I've got to tell you, right off the bat, you know the expression, what if they gave a war and nobody came? Well, what if they gave an inauguration and nobody came? It was like nobody was there. It was like the most watered down event. I mean, even the protests were watered down. Sit back and sit tight, because I'm going to be all over the place with this one. I got a lot to say, especially to you. Especially you brand new political tyros who take this thing so goddamn seriously. But we'll start off with the actual event itself. Boring. Absolutely boring. Media coverage. The event itself was just boring. Everything was weird. It was so right off the bat. Did you see Michelle Obama's face when Melania handed her the gift? Is that normal, do you think, honey, that housewarming kind of thing on it? Do they do that for? I thought that was strange. It was weird, kind of. You know, when you go to somebody's house, my wife's very good about that. She'll say, you bring something to the lady of the house, and here's some whatever it is. But to show up and have the Tiffany's box, and then what? Is Tiffany going to run now? I don't think they had a deal going with this, but is Tiffany's going to say, look what the president brings, or the president-elect brings when he shows up to his new house? Tiffany's. It was weird. It was like a housewarming gift, and then Michelle looked less than amused, and I don't know anything about fashion. Nothing about women's fashion, say. Men's fashion, well, of course, but women's, I don't know anything about that. But I think that the design, that Melania looked fine, looked very Jackie Kennedy-esque, very, regal, very, very professional, very first lady-like. Michelle looked like, almost like when they, when you were a kid, did you ever have people who just came over, didn't announce, they just popped in all of a sudden and they just came out of nowhere? That's kind of what they look like. What are you doing here? Now, believe me, like I said, she's been through 8 years of this. She's probably had enough of this. She wants to leave and get the hell out of there. But if ever anybody looked less than enthused, it was Michelle Obama. In fact, when Melania handed her the box with the Tiffany things, she almost looked like, what the hell do I do with this? Hey, can somebody take this from me? Can somebody help me with this? It was weird from the beginning. From that moment, it was though this wasn't happening. I know it sounds weird. Not in a good way. Not in a, boy, I can't believe I'm having my dreams finally come true. It was as though I couldn't believe this. Like, this wasn't supposed to be happening. And when the actual event started, it was like nobody there. You know the expression, what if they gave a war and nobody came? What if they gave an inauguration and nobody came? It was weird. Chuck Schumer reading the Sullivan-Ballou letter from Ken Burns. Now, it's a beautiful love letter. I've loved it. But were they going to break into the fiddle next? Oh, Kentucky home. I mean, what was that? It was weird. And then when President Trump, I still can't say that. I can't believe he's president. I'm not saying because I'm shocked. I'm not saying because I'm disappointed. I'm going to get to the good stuff in a moment. Don't. I cannot believe Donald Trump is president. Cannot. I still can't believe it. I know what happened. I know he's legitimate. I'm not doing that John Lewis business. I just still can't believe it. So after Chuck Schumer with that weird speech, and who was the senator from the inauguration committee? Why don't you sit right off the bat? Said, what is this? Hee-haws? Hootenanny? What is it? Why don't y'all sit down over there? Chuck, why don't you read that Civil War Sullivan-Ballou letter, won't you? It was weird. Called Pince. It's just strange. Getting the name wrong. then when President Trump finally spoke, behind him, did you see the military moving around? What was that? It's like, my wife thought maybe somebody was being thrown out, or some were saluting, some weren't. Some had, what was that? They were moving behind him. Now, the speech. Let's get to the speech. The speech was not an inaugural speech. It was a campaign speech. Make America great again. Build a wall. Crime. Whatever. It was great, but, and there's no rule for this, it wasn't a campaign speech. It wasn't an inaugural speech. Campaign speech is what he did. Inaugural speech is ask not what your country can do for you, which, by the way, was plagiarized. He took that theme was so old and so done, it's not even funny. Okay, fine. But, it was, usual stuff. It was populist versus whatever. But this is the best part about the whole day. And this is why I got to say, I love Trump, what he did. This is the part that I love. Bearding the lion in his den. While in Washington, surrounded by Washington insiders, he basically decries and blasts and indicts Washington insiders. It was fantastic. It was wonderful. About how basically Washington rips people off. And there he is among these people who do this very thing. Absolutely loved it. Okay. And that was it. And the protests were, I don't even know what they were about. What were they? I was doing a hit on RT. And there was some, you gotta watch foreign coverage. Well, I say foreign coverage, but because in an international world, I'm not sure what foreign is, but they asked some people at the RT folks asked the protesters, young protesters, what are you protesting about? And one of them said they were protesting something about Trump and Putin, that nonsense again. And when they asked this kid, it was almost like jaywalking, like Jay Leno does. They were saying, why do you think Putin was involved in this? Why? He goes, I don't know. He couldn't answer the question because these people most probably were paid via some kind of an Otpor-like Soros organization. It was just incoherent. Were the bikers there, the 200? I don't know. I was bouncing around today. I can't even tell. It was the most. And how about Hillary? Did you hear when they were yelling, lock her up or throw her in jail or something like that? She looked fit to be tied. Trump made the conciliatory, you're a hard worker. Nice way of saying you're lost. The most, to me, lackluster, just an event. It was like nobody was there. Did you see the crowds comparing it to others? It was just weird. They showed there was one theme or whatever where the military came and they were kind of saluting, coming down the steps of something. It looked like they were in the back of the building versus it was just weird. My whole reaction to the event, now we'll get to Trump in a moment, the event was just weird. Did you notice that too, honey? Was that just me or what?
Weird?
Yes.
It's surreal.
Surreal. Can't think of it.
It's like a movie.
A movie. A weird movie. And a Bergman movie. A Coen Brothers movie. Strange. I don't know what it was. And they needed to work on, we have to work on something. When Trump came out, he kind of gave it first the thumbs up and then like a fist, like the right on fist, like, hey. Now, let me stop right there. This is what I've been doing all day. And this is what I've been telling people in my various manifestations and incarnations of media and legal analyst. Whatever I've said or thought about Trump so far has been wrong. Everything has been wrong. Trump, you can't say that about McCain. He wins. Donald Trump went up against 16 of the biggest, baddest, most seriously funded members of the Republican badass community. Jeb Bush had everybody behind him. Wall Street, globalists, old money, new money, institutional, you name it, he had it. He destroyed them. He destroyed Hillary, Bernie, Jill Stein, Gary Johnson, all of that. He did it. Whether you like it or not, he did it. And he won fair and square. And somebody was asking me today, do you think the president is going to continue with his Twitter? I said, let me ask you something. Do you know what you call somebody who uses a Twitter like he did, who uses it and focuses and designs his campaign and talks to people directly through Twitter? You know what you call somebody who does that? Mr. President. You're damn right he's going to do that. Because what this also is, the death knell. As of noon today, mainstream media platforms, news platforms, as we know it, died. It all died. They don't know it. They don't know it yet, but they died. It's done. It's finished. They don't know what they're doing. They are still doing this stuff. Poor Jake Tapper doesn't know what the hell to do. Chris Cuomo doesn't know what to do. Morning Joe. I was watching Fox. They were doing the hamana. They don't. It's like, what are we doing? The American public and the world are tired of this nonsense, this blather, this prattle, this prate, this repetitive, nonsensical gibberish. Rachel Maddow, if she scrunches that forehead up anymore with a look of concern, she's going to go into a spasm. It's over, RM. It's over. What are you talking about? You lost. You have no influence. Nothing. Zero. Let me talk about something else, which is more important. I want to talk to you about something which bothers me even more than anything else. Yeah, this is good. Trump comes, goes, whatever it is. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about this American, the way people deal with politics. I have a black belt in realpolitik. That means real politics, reality. Okay? I don't wear my heart in my sleeve. I understand how things go. I understand politics, not commentary, not this lefty, right, whatever the hell you want to call it, this progressive or truth or whatever you were in. This weird, mean, take it personal world that you're in. You better wake up and grow up. A couple of things that happened. Ran into somebody that I'm not going to go into detail, but this fellow is, shall we say, in the biz. You might say show business. Leave it at that. And he can't say anything about what he feels because he doesn't have any balls. He's basically a gelding. He has an orchiectomy or orchidectomy, depending upon where you're from, years ago. He's atesticular and invertebrate, an impuissant nothing, a spineless jellyfish, okay, who has no guts and wouldn't dare piss off his fellow auteurs, and anyway, by waxing anything other than the party line. Because when it comes to the professional left in this country, you got to be for Hillary and against Trump, and that's it. Neither nor either or, whatever you want to call it. There's no, okay? Then you meet the other folks. You meet the right wingers, or whatever the version of the antithetical version of that is. And they believe in this, you've got to be either for Trump or for, and you got to hate Hillary. Not what she's done. Hate her. It's personal. Hate. That's all they know. Their politics has nothing to do with issues. It's about personality. In fact, the issues get in the way. Issues are too, they don't know issues. It's about hatred. You hate Trump. You hate Hillary. That's it. There's no way around it. I mean, you go crazy. And if you don't follow this particular way of thinking, they hate you back. They will hate you because it's personal. It's childish. It's not even political anymore. Take this rally the other night. Alec Baldwin. Here's a man whose version of politics, ready for this, is doing the Donald Trump imitation from Saturday Night Live. You've got Robert De Niro, who was an incoherent mushmouth, who I think has brain damage, who has been acting the same role since, with the exception of King of Comedy, he's the same guy, and they call him a genius. Okay, fine. He does that embarrassing video about Trump. You mutt. You this. You're an ass. I mean, I'm going to punch you. This is where we are today. Remember World War II? Remember those guys who would come out, Jimmy Stewart, Brigadier General, granted, it was a war. It was wartime. We were more unified, but it was a more kind of a sophisticated world. Okay. Then, I'm always trying to explain to people, not that it matters, but my politics. I am an atheist. I don't have sides. I don't have parties. I voted for myself. I wrote my name in. And there are some things that these people will do will have an issue that I like, not because they've done it, because other people have done it. So the other day, so this one fellow says, you're a conservative. I said, you're out of your mind. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. Because I don't gag when I hear the name Trump, or because I can say that Trump has done some things that are just sheer brilliant. The fact that Trump has actually said some things which I believe in, specifically the middle class, the working man, union, keeping jobs in this country, something that your Barack Obama never did. Because I can say that, these piss ants all of a sudden don't understand it, and they think that somehow this is somewhat of a blanket, crazed endorsement of this evil Donald Trump. So I get this business, you're conservative. It's like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You don't understand the issues. You shouldn't be opining about this stuff. So the other day, there was an issue that came out. I told you this, and others have been saying that Hillary Clinton wanted to be in... Hillary Clinton wanted to now... Well, they've been talking about her running for mayor for a long time. Kind of floating the idea, whether it's true or not. In a number of polls, Quinnipiac and another one, Quinnipiac, she's like maybe 20 points ahead. In another one, she was almost like 50 points ahead, 60 points against this. You have no idea how horrible this mayor is, okay? His name is Bill de Blasio. He's horrible. And I said, Hillary Clinton, I would take hands down over Bill de Blasio. Oh, you should see the outrage from that. Oh, my God. One woman, she wrote me, I thought she was going to kill herself. I thought she was going to kill herself. How dare you? You said that, Hillary. You wanted her indicted and blah, 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 blah. I said, I realized this is sad. This is sad. No, the problem ain't Hillary. The problem isn't Obama. The problem isn't de Blasio. It's you. If you think like this. Do you understand how this thing works? Do you understand? No, I'm being very serious. I'm being very serious. Do you know how this works? If you want to change things, be a missionary. If you want to change things, be a philanthropist. If you want to change things, be a missionary. Be somebody who goes out and helps people. But if you want to go into politics, it's a different story. Most of the people I meet they don't even know what it's talking about. They know the issues, but they don't know politics. You have no idea how this thing works. None. Zero. Nothing. They don't get it. They still don't understand the Electoral College. They don't get it. They don't, I'm sorry, get it. So the other day, in fact, when I posted this thing, just as an example, the New York Post, as conservative and as anti-Hillary as you can imagine, endorsed her for mayor against this lout because she could destroy him in the primary. Because it looks right now like he, and I'm giving you this as an example, might make it, and if he makes it past the primary, forget it. She won New York City by a landslide. So people are saying, I'll take that. Remember that expression? He's a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. Better to have him on the inside pissing out than the outside pissing in. Remember, that's an old, it's as old as, I think Lyndon Johnson talked about that, referred to J. Edgar Hoover about that. But yet, people cannot understand. I have to somehow compartmentalize this. I have to do what? I have to say something about Hillary. And by the way, what I'm saying is theoretical. But the point is, it doesn't matter. It goes to show you. They can't deal with this because they've invested all their money in just hate. And when you hate somebody, it's like professional boxing. If you're going out there and you lose your cool and you hate your opponent, he'll kill you. You know when there's a boxing match and somebody clobbers the other one and they end up hugging each other? They're so detached from the hatred part of it. No, it's a sport. That's what this is about. And that's what's killed mainstream media in particular, because you don't understand how this thing works. You don't get it. Let me give you an example how this thing works. When we talked about Putin, we talked about Russia and that sort of thing, I remember telling, and I still tell people a lot of times, I said, do you understand the problem that Russia has with NATO? Because what Trump said about NATO is absolutely correct. Because NATO, believe it or not, poses more of a threat to us than any kind of protection service that it theoretically and fancifully, I guess, endorses or believes in. Anyway, so I said, do you understand the reality of how this thing works? How NATO in Poland and in the periphery of the Russian border, the existential threat that poses? Do you understand what Russia thinks? And people were saying, I don't care what Russia thinks. And I said, this is Russia. They're nuclear. Do you understand? They're not going to do anything. So not only do I have infantile babies, which is redundant, and tautological, redundant. But I have people who take this thing so personally. So, I can't explain it. I remember thinking sometimes and being able to say how Trump does things brilliantly. And the anti-Trump group, because it wasn't the pro-Hillary group, it was the anti-Trump group, would just go nuts because they hate him. And let me explain something to you. Do me a favor. I don't give a shit one way or the other if you get this or not. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm running into, and I have now for 30 years, people who get so wrapped up in this that they lose their mind. I'll give you an example. The birther crowd, the truther crowd, the vaxxer crowd, they're so enraged by this. They're insane. They just. I read something the other day, an article. Just a perfunctory reading of a friend of mine, Abby Martin. Somebody sent it, and they said, she said it's on 9/11's on an inside job. I thought, oh no, not these people again. It's like a religion. They lost their minds. No objectivity, no interest in the facts, just it's my club. And my club hates your club. I'm a Yankees, you're Red Sox. We are born to hate you. I'm sure there's a football Man U or Arsenal or something. I'm sure there's got to be another one of these insane. And then watching today all the various media reviews of this, I thought it's either or with them. I can tell you 15 different perspectives of today's event. I can tell you how the Trump fan loved it. Trump fan loved it. We have friends of ours who were there. It was the greatest thing they've ever seen. It was like Jesus Christ coming down from on high, the second coming, and there's nothing you're going to say to talk them out of it, and it's not subject to debate, okay? That's their point of view. It's valid because that's their point of view. You got other people, we got these, are you going to go to Washington with us? For what? To protest? Protest what? Trump? What about him? You know, Trump. Trump? In general? You're a little late. No, women's thing. Oh, now well, where have you been? What exactly do you want to protest? What? What? Roe? What is it? The other night, at Columbus Circle, all these people there with De Niro, whatever, they have no idea why they're there. Because it's a movement. It's this thing. It has its own superstructure, its own skeleton, its own mind, so to speak. It's weird. It's like barnacles. Barnacles have no brain. They stick onto something and they congeal. Or murmurations of starlings, how they move en masse. It's the weirdest thing. I'm thinking these people should not be involved in politics because they cannot see anything other than this focus on, put it this way, they're so much a part of the crowd and the crowd mentality and the swarm and the mob and this group and the identity that it gives them that they're unable to pull away from it and look at this objectively. Nobody can understand exactly what Trump means to a group of people who, let's say, are middle class or lower middle class or working class, who worried about jobs going overseas, who worry about TPP, who worry about this neoliberal nonsense. I was talking to neoliberalism. I'm not going to mention who, but I was in a debate, not a debate, but a discussion today. I told this fellow, very esteemed, I said, I'd lose the neoliberalism if you want them to understand what you're talking about. They think it's liberal. They don't know what that means. They're not, nobody knows what you're talking about. People don't care about ideology anymore. It's personal. It's personal. It's beyond anything. Our anger is what motivates us, not our love, not what we want, it's what we don't want. It's what we don't want that's motivating us. It's weird. It's very strange. So to make it, to summarize what happened today, as far as the inaugurals go, it was weird. It was surreal. It was like nobody was there. But it didn't matter. Because there's a whole bunch of people who feel vindicated. And you'd better understand what they feel. And you better understand what they think. And you'd better understand. Let me give you an example. There are these people that I meet every now and then who say, when asked about, well, what do you think the role Twitter had? Or, well, what do you think about Trump and Twitter? And they'll say, well, I don't even know how to turn the damn computer on. I don't know anything about Twitter. What are you saying? I'm saying I don't know anything about Twitter. I'm not sure. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter about your frame of reference. It doesn't matter if you hate Trump or love Hillary, whatever. That doesn't matter. If you want to get into the business of being able to analyze politics, analyze what's going on, and really appreciate and understand it, feel strong, have a conviction, but don't lose yourself in it. Don't lose yourself in the swarm, in the mob. Be able to stop anytime, because once the crowd starts moving, you can't stop. A lot of people can't because they're sucked up by this mosh pit, this stampede. That's where we are today, stampede politics. It's really something. And I watched today, I went from one channel to the next, I'm reading everything, and it's the most incoherent, and social media, let me tell you something, these people are so afraid right now. They don't know what to do. Because in this post-BuzzFeed world, it's getting, whatever. And I'll tell you this much. I want everybody to get along great, and I want this country to prosper, and I want things to go well. And I'm always going to tell you the way I feel. And if you don't like it, if there's something that I say to you, some position where I don't hate somebody as much as you do, or I do hate somebody. I really don't hate people. You're not going to hear that because I never lose sight of the issue. It's not personal. It's like Michael Corleone told Tom Hagen. It's not personal. It's not personal. Going after, Salazzo and McCluskey, it's not personal. It's business. That's what this is. So we'll see what happens, okay? Good. So keep the cards and letters coming. As always, don't forget to like this particular video. Thank you, by the way. We're 8 million strong, 44,000 plus subscribers. Thanks to you. Put your comments below. Always stay in touch. Always be a part of this. And we're gonna make it together through this maelstrom, this fire, this brush fire, this forest fire, whatever the hell it is, whatever the particular metaphor it is. I'm tired. I've been doing this all day. So until we see each other again, this is your new best friend, Lionel, reminding you to comment as you see fit.